welcome to the Generation Y Conservative Show. I'm glad that you could join me tonight. It's been a while. It's been a while since we went live on the Facebook stream. And well, I don't have a co-host tonight, so I figured what the heck, I'd open it up to the public, see if anybody wants to jump in with comments and everything. And we have a lot going on. Obviously, if you're watching, tonight is Friday. This show won't go live or be on air until Sunday on Mojo 50. And then by then you would have already missed tomorrow's event, the Rally in the Valley in Copley, Pennsylvania at Relic Hunter Firing Line, where I will be one of the featured speakers at the Second Amendment rally. So if you happen to be in the area in Pennsylvania tomorrow, go to Relic Hunter Firing Line at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. They're giving away guns and a bunch of other giveaways. You can go to the shooting range. You can get great deals on firearms themselves and everything. So it's going to be a good time. That's Saturday, tomorrow. Listen, this half hour of the Generation Y Conservative Show is brought to you by Patriot Mobile. Now listen, there is a lot of crap out there that we don't support, okay? We're seeing it all the time right now. There's a lot of stories in the news of just policies that are being passed all over the country that we disagree with. What's more frustrating than those policies being passed is when you are paying big companies for their products or services and they put your money towards those things. One of those examples is actually your cell phone company. Well, while the left gives away your money to things like Planned Parenthood and other things, there is a difference out there. There is an alternative, and that is Patriot Mobile. The extreme left politicians have become unhinged, and media bias is at an all-time high, and anti-Semitism is running rampant. You can support your values with a veteran-led Patriot Mobile phone. America's only conservative cell phone company providing reliable nationwide coverage. It's easy to switch, keep your same phone number, bring your own device, or buy a new one. Enjoy no hidden fees, no roaming fees, and no liberal agenda, which is the most important thing. At Patriot Mobile, more than $2 million has been used to support your constitutional rights. Imagine what we could do with you on our side when you switch to Patriot Mobile. With unlimited talk and text plans starting as low as $25 a month, now is the time to switch. Visit patriotmobile.com/mojo50. Join me to stop the left and switch to Patriot Mobile today. We need you now more than ever. Just visit patriotmobile.com/mojo50. This half hour is also brought to you by the Nostalgia Grilling Sampler. Now, this is just in time for Father's Day, okay? It says, it's time to get your grilling on. Nostalgia's Grilling Sampler Pack is on sale and perfect for kicking up your grilling skills. Just go to mojowildrice.com and use the code word GRILL10, and you can save 10% on the Grilling Sampler Pack. Now, what comes in the pack? Listen to this. I just had dinner, so my stomach's full, but it still makes my mouth water on this. The pack includes their salt-free garlic and herb seasoning for meats, vegetables, or potatoes, and can be used as a dry or oil rub. The Northwoods Jerk Seasoning is some awesome flavor that you could put on pork, salmon, or chicken, either dry or oil rubbed. You can use the raspberry wine jelly as a delicious base for marinades or the dipping sauce to brush directly on the meats. The sweet heat of the jalapeno pepper jam is perfect as a marinade, brushed on at the grill or served on the side as a dip. You can even add it to your own barbecue sauce for some super flavor. Add their maple sugar to your wet or dry rub before grilling for great caramelization on any grilled meat. And everyone will love the wonderful dark richness of the stout beer jelly in your burger mixture mixed in with some Gouda cheese. It can also be used as a grilling sauce or marinade for a delicious flavor on any meat. So make the most of your grilling season and save 10% when you use the promo code GRILL10 at mojowildrice.com. And don't forget, it's a great gift for Father's Day. All right, well, this is the Generation Y Conservative Show. I want to thank everyone for joining me tonight. It's a heck of a week. I myself have been working like crazy this week, but we have what's amounting to be just some crazy political things going on out there. For the last couple of weeks, we've been dealing a lot with the abortion topics. I'm going to dive back into that tonight again, just for a little bit because of some things that are happening in Illinois. It seems like the states are putting down their feet on issues, and we're starting to see states' rights really rise up and show their faces, which in most cases I would be happy about. I think that's what sets America apart as far as being able to go to a different state and see what's going on and be able to live in a state that more aligns with your values. You know, we have such an uproar right now when sweeping legislation passes in states like Alabama with the abortion bill. What's the one out west? I forget at this point. Missouri, I believe it was. And you know, you see things like what we're going to talk about in Illinois happening, and you think to yourself, my word, like people are really starting to step up into what they feel is the appropriate thing and actually going with it. Now, personally for me, abortion, that I'm always going to consider it murder, so I think it's really disgusting when a state makes it legal up through 9-month period in the womb. And you know, we'll certainly talk about that. You can start putting your opinions down on what you think about that and why anyone would abort a baby at 9 months beyond a woman's health issue. Because even at that point, we'll talk about alternatives, even in the womb, that you could have. But why at 9 months? I mean, it's not like you just figured out that you're pregnant at that point. Also, we have a funny story that we're going to start the night off with. But listen, what I want you to do is, if you, how's it going, Andy? If you are a first-time listener to the program, I always forget to do this lately, especially on Mojo Radio. What I want you to do is head over to the Generation Y Conservative page, hit like and follow so you can get notifications when we publish content, whether that's stories that we follow throughout the week, and you know, typically those stories are going to show up on the podcast or on the show anyway. Sorry, podcast is for later, the recorded version. Also, what I want you to do is, more importantly than that, if you haven't seen what's in the news this week and why I'm kind of fired up about everything, it's that YouTube is really going out of their way to censor conservatives, demonetize them, and take away their means of making money and everything. I think when I started this channel, the algorithms and what was going on with YouTube was a little different. I had a little following, and I think I made $4 on the channel before they demonetized me and set new standards. And I am going through a push right now for my YouTube channel to get to the subscriber base that they require for me to monetize. So look, go to the YouTube website, search for the Generation Y Conservative channel, hit subscribe and hit the bell for notifications for when we publish content. Now, we split up this show into all of its segments. We put them in each individually. We put on full shows and everything. And we also publish movie reviews and gun reviews as well. I had mentioned earlier right at the start of the program that tomorrow I'll be doing a speech on the Second Amendment at the rally in the Valley here in the Lehigh Valley at Relic Hunter Firing Line. And at Relic Hunter Firing Line, I work with Gerard and some of his other workers to spotlight and review certain firearms. I gotta tell you, it's one of the best parts of this show is getting out and being able to do that. As a matter of fact, 2 weekends ago I was there, and it was a free gun rental weekend. Oh my word. I picked up the Sig Sauer MPS, and even the range officer said I had great grouping. I blew a hole by the end of this shooting time through that target. And it certainly wasn't me. I mean, I'm a pretty good shot and everything, but there's like little recoil to no recoil, and the grouping was amazing. So now I'm torn between getting a Mossberg Shockwave shotgun and going for an MPS. So either way, I got to start saving up some money. Andy says YouTube has caved to the loud minority. Yeah, absolutely. And we're talking less than 2% of the population in regards to who is actually speaking up and speaking out and making problems for conservatives. And I think that the social media networks are really starting to open the door after multiple interviews, whether it was testifying in front of Congress and talking about to Mark Zuckerberg the Facebook issues that they're having and censoring conservatives and trying to figure out what the heck is happening there. And he kind of did his like robotic spiel and was drinking water like an alien the whole time and everything, over to Jack Dorsey of Twitter and him showing up on the Joe Rogan podcast and explaining with his counterpart who runs the operation, I forget her name, but it was almost like watching someone talking to you that you absolutely know that they are lying to your face and you can't do anything about it. You can't prove them wrong. You can't say that they're right in what they're saying. And it's just getting to it's a really tough spot for people like me right now. And you know, I was demonetized at a very low subscriber base as opposed to some of these bigger guys that have millions of followers and everything. I'm getting way off track. Anyway, we talked about Facebook. Go to Facebook, hit like and follow. Go to the YouTube channel for the Generation Y Conservative. Hit subscribe and the bell for notifications on that. And then you can also go to Twitter, at Gen Y Conservative without the E on the end. By the way, I also just found out, if you're listening to Mojo Radio right now, that on June 18th, it's a Tuesday, at 9 o'clock, I will actually be co-hosting Defenders Live with Steven on there because Dylan will be out of town for a little over a week, it looks like, on vacation or something like that. So just got off the texting with Dylan, the co-host of that show, and I look forward to it. I look forward to being able to sit as the co-host and just react to the co-host instead of coming up with all the content and everything. Sean says, we can't get loud. We get labeled as racist, selfish Nazis. Sean, you're in the Lehigh Valley. I would encourage you to come out to the Relic Hunter Firing Line Second Amendment rally tomorrow and listen to my speech because I'll be honest with you, I was on this trail over the last couple of weeks trying to come up with my speech in regards to what I was going to talk about and what direction I was going to go into. Andy, to answer your question, how do you get Mojo Radio? Download the iHeartRadio app and find Mojo 50 Radio on iHeartRadio. It's an internet radio station based out of Texas. Originally, Doc Thompson of The Blaze started it up, and they have a lot of really, really great programs on there for conservatives all day long, all week. On weekends, I'm on from 5 to 7 on Sundays. That's when this show will actually air on the radio, and I'm just pre-recording it right now. Unfortunately, I don't have the availability on Sundays to be able to do that live. Yeah, so my direction in regards to the speech was actually going to be in regards to Venezuela and Nicaragua and going off of the socialist policies that have made their so-called paradise and show what happens when dictatorships put the boot on the necks of not American citizens, but citizens in their countries, take away their guns and then strip them of every other right that they have, and send them into poverty and eating out of trash cans. Certainly I will be, you're absolutely welcome, Andy. We certainly will be talking about that as well during this speech, but some really interesting things in regards to the stuff with social media this week, I feel like trends in the direction of the Second Amendment. I'm going to tie the First Amendment and the Second Amendment together really well. Last year, if you haven't seen it, you can actually head over to the YouTube channel and search for my Second Amendment rally speech last year at Relic Hunter Firing Line. It looks like they're doing this as a yearly thing now. And I talked about the importance of the Constitution, how the Second Amendment protects all the other amendments, and without it, it would dissolve. We wouldn't have the ability to protect those. So my question to you, and I'm going to give you the answer either tomorrow if you're at the rally, or next week I'll put it into the show as well, is if the Second Amendment protects every other amendment in the Constitution, what protects the Second Amendment? I'm sure some of you will be able to answer that actually on the show right now as I'm watching the live feed here. But I have a really in-depth look of going at that and actually bringing in news stories of recently what's been going on to actually be able to answer that as well. Listen, let's talk about some funny things though. This is according to WTSP, looks like 10 News. This is the headline. Passengers say captain drank beer, had cocaine, and fired a gun during nightmare fishing trip. Okay? And as soon as I start reading this, here's what I want you to think. I don't know where you are in the country right now, but well, actually, it must be popular all over the place because they made a freaking movie about it. Here in the Lehigh Valley, there's a couple places where you can go for these escape room kind of adventure things that you can do to escape out of the room and find all the clues and everything. As soon as I started reading this, I started cracking up because all I was thinking was, did these people actually sign normal Friday night? Absolutely right. Are these people signing up for a pirate ship adventure and how to escape off this damn thing? I started cracking up. But listen to, here's some of the thing. Of course, it happens in Florida, as someone pointed out. It says, passengers say their charter boat captain went on a drunken, drug-infused tirade and threatened to shoot everyone on his boat during a nightmare fishing trip. 10 News also obtained a police summary and witness statements that paint a disturbing picture of what should have been a 12-hour fishing excursion Sunday in the Gulf of Mexico. Sarasota police say passengers aboard the boat told them that Captain Mark Bailey, 36, my age, drank rum from the bottle, had multiple beers, got high from cocaine, and ended up in an argument with a 15-year-old passenger who reportedly tried to grab his uncle a drink from the captain's pail. Passenger Christopher Gluffrey said it was like a movie, unbelievable. He says that Bailey ripped a chain off fellow passenger Jason Jr. Railmo's neck for trying to grab the beer for his uncle. I thought at first he was just playing, but then I realized that he was serious, and I was like, I can't do that. In statements filed with the police department, the passengers claimed that Bailey fired a gun more than once while the vessel was 30 to 40 miles offshore. Holy crap. So, listen, hey, I'm looking at the itinerary here. It looks like you signed up for a pirate cruise. You get what you sign up for. I mean, what's going on? And this guy looks like he could have been a pirate. I mean, he's in an orange jumpsuit or something right off the bat with this picture here and everything. But he's got the long hair pulled back and the beard. And maybe I look like a preppy pirate or something like that. But my word, I looked at I think Andy's right. It's like a normal Friday night if I was living in Florida, that's for sure. I love being out on the boat. But could you imagine being out at sea? Need to move to Florida, he says. I don't know about that. There was a recent thing going around on Facebook where if you Google your birthday and type Florida man or something like that all together, it comes up with, you should post like the story that's associated with your birthday and some crazy Florida man doing something at that point in time, and it always comes up with something hilarious. It's actually really funny. Okay, listen, here's something that's really interesting too. I am actually going to tie this into my speech on Saturday, tomorrow, or yesterday if you're listening to this on Sunday. This is according to comicbook.com. Their article headline reads, Rotten Tomatoes needs to kill its audience scores. Okay. If you're a movie lover like me and you like watching movies and everything, you understand what Rotten Tomatoes is, most likely, okay? Rotten Tomatoes is a website where you can go to get peer reviews on movies that you want to go see. It also has the critic score up there as well as a comparison, but it seems like critics don't really jive with the American people anymore. They're always going for the artsy films, ones with social agendas and everything, and they praise those and everything, but you never see like a great Marvel flick ever winning awards at the Academy Awards or anything like that. Not that I watch that crap either because of how infused with political drama that is all the time. But what I find interesting is that this website, Rotten Tomatoes, if it's a peer-reviewed website, that essentially makes this a for the people, by the people website. Does that sound familiar to you at all? And what are they saying here? Rotten Tomatoes needs to kill its audience score. So it's just going to become another critics website. But here's why. Let's see here. For the past 2 decades, blah, blah, blah. Okay, in response to the internet trolls, the site has updated their protocols multiple times over the last few months. First, audience reviews were temporarily disabled, followed by the option to comment about a movie only being made possible after a movie is opened. Okay, what they're specifically talking about here, and I can't find it exactly, is in regards to 2 specific films. Number 1, Captain America, and 2, Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Okay? And again, stick with me tomorrow. I will tie this all into the Second Amendment. Number 1, let's go over Captain Marvel just real quick, okay? Bad acting, okay? I don't know if it's Brie Larson's fault or, because I actually kind of liked her in the King Kong movie that just came out recently, Skull Island. She was okay in that. But her cardboard acting in Captain Marvel was terrible. And the whole movie was set up to bash men, okay? It was a feminist agenda to show that women are better than men at doing things, or at least as equal, okay? And the only way that modern feminists have the ability to prove themselves is by bashing men and putting them down. We're running low on time here, so I'm going to try to hurry this up. And that's not the case. If you want to prove yourself as an equal or better, just prove it. You don't need to bash men in order to do that. As far as the Star Wars: The Last Jedi is concerned, you had a purple-haired feminist leader who put down her best pilot and refused to talk to him about plans because he wasn't good enough for her, going on a 2.5-hour chase in space, to going over to a planet where they vilify the rich in a casino environment. They go on an animal saving spree for an animal rights activist agenda. They bring up slavery into that, and they force relationships that had nothing going on for him before except for trying to bring together interracial couples, which, I mean, aren't we past that already? How far past that are we at this point? All to say, it was convoluted and a freaking mess, okay? So no wonder these movies got bad scores, because no one wants these social agendas jammed down their throats anymore. And with Star Wars, I mean, maybe there's been some social agendas that tied into them in the past, but nothing as blatant as The Last Jedi. I can tell you, as a true Star Wars fan myself, I've watched all those movies over and over and over again. I've watched The Last Jedi one time, and any other time I've turned on that movie, I have fast forwarded to the throne fight scene, to the Salt Planet fight scene, and that's about it. That's honestly just about it. Okay? As far as Captain Marvel's concerned, I gotta be honest with you. Besides the feminist agenda in it, which I can actually kind of look past because it wasn't that bad, her acting was the bad part, I thought it was actually kind of a good movie in regards to the origin stories, okay? Every origin story has to set up the character and go through all the supporting character cast and everything else in order to really get going in subsequent movies and everything. I mean, look at Thor. It took until Ragnarok to get that franchise really going, where everybody really liked it. So, yes, this website saying that it needs to go to critic scores is full of crap, because then it's no longer Rotten Tomatoes. It's no longer a peer-by-peer movie review site. And that turns it into something that we actually don't want to see anymore. We don't want to go to reviews done by critics or anything. So listen, we have a lot more to talk about. We're going to talk about Netflix and their support of abortion and what's going on with that, my family's personal choice on that, a couple more entertainment things that we're going to talk about, and then we're going to get into politics as well. So listen, stick around. We'll be right back, and we'll continue the conversation. Hang in there.